Every single offseason, it happens.
Now, the Niners, some people are going to be surprised by. Don't read too much into what happened last season.
How about we take an honest look around the league and call out the 5 teams that we're buying stock in fully and the 5 teams that everyone else seems to love, but we're calling BS on heading into the 2025 NFL season. Legit contender, Philadelphia Eagles. Shouldn't come as a surprise that the defending champs are in a great position to make another run. The Philadelphia Eagles are sitting on a goldmine of talent, and they know it. Howie Roseman is still playing chess while the rest of the league fiddles with checkers. Somehow the Eagles just won a Super Bowl behind the NFL's second-ranked scoring defense and a top 6 offense. And somehow, someway, their core is getting younger. It's borderline unfair. And if their last draft class of defenders pops the way the 2024 group did, well, this could be the deepest, most dangerous defense in all the NFL. After all, this is a group that has all of their projected defensive starters average under 26 years old, with Zach Bond being the lone guy who's seen more than 5 birthdays since college graduation. And on the other side of the ball, Jalen Hurts is a proven winner, and especially good in clutch time. Plus, he still has Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley to help make plays and break games open, which is more than enough when the supporting cast is stacked top to bottom. If we're talking legit Super Bowl 60 contenders, well, Philly's not just in the mix, they're leading the pack. Pretender, San Francisco 49ers. For years, the 49ers were the standard in the NFC. Built to bully opponents with a nasty defense, a creative offense, and a roster that felt like it came straight out of Madden franchise mode. But in 2025, the paint is starting to chip, and the engine doesn't quite sound the same. San Francisco's defense, once its calling card, fell apart completely last season and finished near the bottom of the league in points allowed. Nick Bosa is still a superstar, but he's now surrounded by rookies who are expected to grow up fast. That is not the kind of setup that wins you playoff games. On offense, the problems are just as glaring. Brandon Ayuk is coming off a torn ACL. Deebo Samuel is gone. And Trent Williams, the anchor of the offensive line, is nearing the end of a Hall of Fame career. What's left is Brock Purdy, a few promising young weapons, and a whole lot of what-ifs on a unit that was already one of the oldest in football last year. All in all, it feels like the window is closing. The cap sheet is tight, the roster is aging, and for all of Kyle Shanahan's brilliance, there are far too many cracks to patch up at once. The Niners will still win games. Shanahan and Purdy will make sure of that, especially if CMC can stay healthy, which, of course, is a big if. But Super Bowl 60 feels more like a dream from a few years ago than a realistic shot. Legit contender, Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is built to win right now. Lamar Jackson is smack in the middle of his prime. And when you pair an MVP-level quarterback with a front office that just keeps stacking hits in the draft, well, you get a team that is always in the mix. Baltimore's calling card is balance. They can bludgeon you on the ground, now with Derrick Henry punishing defenses like it's still 2019, and they can hit you over the top when Lamar gets rolling. The offensive line, which many thought might take a step back last year, actually finished as one of the league's best in both run blocking and pass block efficiency. And then there's the defense with 7 former first-round picks that are set to start this season, giving the Ravens elite depth. The big question is always January for Baltimore. The Ravens can roll through the regular season, heck, they've proven that. But when the lights are brightest, can they play their best football? That's the hill that they still need to climb. Until they conquer that mental hurdle, some will keep doubting them. But for now, we have them penciled in as real contenders. Pretender, Green Bay Packers. The Packers are everyone's favorite dark horse this offseason. They have one of the youngest rosters in the league, and everyone is ready for Jordan Love to take that next big step forward, riding the wave of young skill players. But the question is, will he? And boy, that is the million-dollar question. On the surface, it screams contender. But scratch just a little deeper and, well, you see why Green Bay is more pretender than powerhouse right now. The wide receiver group is full of promise, with Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, rookie Matthew Golden. But it's also full of drops, injuries, and question marks. Defensively, yes, they're young and talented. But youth is a double-edged sword. Being the youngest team in the NFL sounds great until your secondary is chasing veterans in the playoffs who've been there before. And as much as Matt LaFleur LaFleur has proven that he can scheme up with the best of them, Green Bay is still a step behind the big dogs when it comes to experience and depth, which is what will matter down the stretch and into the playoffs. Legit contender? Kansas City Chiefs. Let's be honest with ourselves here. As long as Patrick Mahomes is under center and Andy Reid is on the sideline, the Kansas City Chiefs are contenders. Heck, they're probably the contenders. Period. It almost doesn't matter what the rest of that roster really looks like, because no duo has proven that they can bend the league to their will quite like these two. Sure, the supporting cast looks a little different now. Travis Kelce is closer to the end than the beginning, to put it lightly, and his snaps will always have to be managed. The wide receiver room is full of potential, but not exactly proven dominance, headlined by Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown, who aren't exactly striking fears into secondaries quite yet. But potential becomes production fast when Mahomes is the one throwing the football. What really makes Kansas City dangerous, though, is their defense. Last season, they quietly fielded one of the youngest and stingiest defensive units in the league, and it's only getting better. The reality is this: in a league where windows close overnight, the Chiefs' window remains wide open. Pretender? Houston Texans. The biggest red flag in Houston is in the trenches. The Texans traded away Laramie Tunsil, their best offensive lineman by a mile, and didn't come close to replacing him. Keep in mind, this was already one of the worst pass-blocking units in the NFL last season. And now Stroud is supposed to thrive behind an even shakier protection? That is a recipe for regression, not a leap. On top of that, the receiving core is thinner than people want to admit. Nico Collins is a star, but Tank Dell is sidelined, and the rest of the young guys are more maybe than must-have. When playoff football tightens up, Stroud won't have the time or weapons to consistently beat elite defenses. Make no mistake, Houston is on the right path. The defense is young and athletic. Stroud is the real deal, and Ryans has established a winning culture. But this idea that the Texans are ready to take the AFC crown in 2025, well, it's definitely a year or two premature. Legit contender? Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have been knocking on the Super Bowl door for years, and in 2025, it still feels like they've got the pieces to finally kick it down. Josh Allen remains one of the most dangerous players in football. He's equal parts battering ram and franchise quarterback, and the front office has quietly reshaped the roster around him with young, ascending talent. The recently extended James Cook has developed into the kind of multi-purpose back this offense always needed, while Khalil Shakir has taken steps toward becoming a legit weapon. On defense, they've doubled down, paying big to lock up Greg Rousseau, Terrell Bernard, and Christian Benford, and then adding Joey Bosa to juice the pass rush. Oh yeah, that's the kind of investment that screams Super Bowl or bust. Pretender? Washington Commanders. The Commanders might have found the quarterback of their future in Jaden Daniels. He's electric, fearless, and already one of the most exciting young signal callers in football. But last year was a bit of a miracle run where everything went just right. And reality is that he doesn't have nearly enough help. Terry McLaurin is still a star, but he cannot carry the entire offense by himself. The rest of Washington's receiving depth is paper thin, with stopgap veterans like Deebo Samuel and rookies who are not ready for prime time. For all the energy that new ownership has brought to the franchise, they have not solved the most glaring issue, at least not yet, which is giving Daniels a legitimate supporting cast. Defensively, this roster has been stripped down, and while Jerzon Newton feels and looks like a piece to build around, the rest of that unit is just full of placeholders. You can see what the future could be, but in 2025, this team feels more like a collection of parts than a finished product. Legit contenders? Detroit Lions. Don't worry, Lions fans, we didn't forget you. Dan Campbell has built this team in his own image. Tough, fearless, and always ready to bite off a kneecap if that's what it takes. It's not just attitude anymore. Detroit has real talent everywhere. The offensive core, led by Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, is as dynamic as any in the league. Add in a top-tier offensive line, and, well, you can see clearly why Jared Goff has never looked more comfortable. Even with the loss of both coordinators, Ben Johnson on offense and Aaron Glenn on defense, the Lions are still ready. They are a real-deal Super Bowl contender and one of the scariest teams in football heading into 2025. Pretender? Pittsburgh Steelers. Come on, let's call it like it is. Pittsburgh is not a contender. They're barely clinging to relevance, kind of like their new signal caller Aaron Rodgers. He will turn 42 in December and is more of a one-year rental than a plan at this point, making the idea of building a real contender around him more fantasy than reality. Don't get us wrong. They've been a solid squad for the last few years, but that time has taught us that until the Steelers figure out the most important position in football, they're stuck. Yeah, the offensive line is trending upward, and yes, TJ Watt is still a monster on defense, but Watt is now on the wrong side of 30. Pittsburgh isn't scaring anybody this season. But hey, which team do you think is the most legit Super Bowl 60 contender? Who do you think's a pretender? What do you think we got right here? Who do you think we missed on? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking that like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.